back to my channel. Today we are going to go through and talk about all the accessories that Brennan here added to his Kawasaki.
This time you can actually see me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So let's get going.
So, I mean, one of the first things that I did right off the gate, windshield, roof, and the rear panel. So I wanted to at least get some of the elements off of me. So those are the first things I did. After that, I sort of branched out a little bit. I put the mirrors on and I got my Street Legal kit. The mirrors, you'll notice, actually, I 3D printed a spacer because they were absolutely useless and they wouldn't get out past the big rear end. Yes, my Kawasaki has a big butt. So, I did buy the XTC turn signal kit. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the self-canceling one. I wish I wouldn't have done self-canceling personally because it's more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. And it's just, I really don't drive this thing on the street much anymore because the mileage adds up real fast when you're using it on the streets and the maintenance comes up really quick. So I kind of regret doing that, but I guess at the same time, it's kind of nice to have and it's already done. So, you know, whatever. I did put a light bar, and these are both aftermarket. They're not Kawasaki. So I think my light bar was like 65 bucks on Amazon, super cheap, works like a champ. I have no complaints for the most part. And the brackets are just standard metal brackets that I bought. One of the first things I noticed, and I'm sure all of you have noticed it as well on all UTVs, the springs suck. So bought it brand new. 75 miles down, I went from 14.4 inch clearance to like 10. So got on with shock therapy and we swapped out all the springs. And I think I'm running about 15 and a half inches of clearance around the machine. I wore through my first set of tires. So it's not really an accessory that I added, but it was more out of necessity. I've got about 1,200 miles. My original 31 inch Maxxis Carnivores were shot, they were wore out. So I'm trying out a set of Rockabillys, or no, these are Sedona.
The Rockabillys, yes.
Yeah, they're the Rockabillys. They're okay. I have no real complaints with them yet, but I also haven't put a whole lot of mileage on them because I just got them. I think there's maybe 50 or 60 miles on them, so I haven't really gotten to really play with them and see what they're like. Obviously I put the soft uppers on. These are not the Kawasaki ones because I think they're stupid. Kawasaki wants you to drill holes in your machine in the doors. I didn't like that, so I didn't bother doing that. These are the it's the only other company that does them. I can't remember who they are, but they're like 380 bucks or something like that. They're not bad.
It's okay, we'll mention them down in the description.
I like them. The only problem is as soon as you fully enclose the interior, you're just nothing but fog. So we go through a lot of water where we are and the steam comes in there and you are completely shut in. So I constantly have to crack them open, and that's no fault to them. I mean, that's just the way these things are designed. They're gonna get steam. So I'm still trying to figure out a good way of getting past that. I have not put the heater kit in here yet. I'm hoping that once I do, I can use that for the defrost. I don't know if that's gonna help, but I'm gonna try it. So, as far as what else did I put in this thing? Obviously the spare tire carrier. I did put a rear view mirror, the Kawasaki one. Absolutely useless, but I like it. Either way, unfortunately, once you put your spare tire on and your rear box, you can't see anything out of it anyways. I did do the cab seal kit. I forgot about that. So I do like the cab seal kit, but we've had to make some modifications to it because I was still getting absolutely soaked. So I don't know if it's just me or what, but maybe I go too fast on the trails, but when you hit a puddle at 20 miles an hour, all you get is just a wave of water that came into the machine. And that we fixed up front. So it's not part of the cab seal kit, but I did find that somewhere in here, water would come through and it would come right through my my door hinges. And when I say water I mean, imagine a fire hydrant just opening up. It was ridiculous. So that made all the difference in the world. And it was awesome to do. let's see, up there. Oh, obviously the mud flaps, the extended fender flares. You know, if I was in a desert environment, I wouldn't need them. But where we go, if you do anything with mud, you just got soaked. I mean, you turn your tires and it just all came in on you. So definitely wanted to do those. That was one of the first things I did. Moving to the back, obviously spare tire carrier with spare tire and the tail box. I like the tail box, but I don't like the tail box. It was at least a storage solution that was lockable on this versus nothing else was lockable. You can put your tools in there, you can put whatever you want in there. So I do still like it. It definitely hinders your view. I did put the hitch receiver on. And then something you can't see is the full Under Armour that I put on. We did do the full 1/2 inch, including the boat sides with mine, the Trail Armor. So the Trail Armor is pretty awesome actually, other than, you know, when you do the boat sides, I will say the one bad thing is there's a lot of space in here and this just fills up with rock. And there's been rock in there since I put it on there, and I've kind of given up trying to get it out, but it is what it is. You know, it's still protecting what I want it to protect for the most part. And I mean, I definitely bottom this thing out a lot and smack it up. And you know, being that this is the 1/2 inch stuff, it takes a beating. I mean, it's awesome. It takes a beating, and so I have no complaints about that. Windshield wiper, I don't know how anybody has a windshield without windshield wiper. It seems pretty impossible if you have any water at all. So it is the Kawasaki windshield wiper. It installed super easy. It's awesome. I did put a little bit larger a wiper blade on it, but anybody can do that. So, but I wanted to just clean more of the glass. I probably use my windshield wiper 600 or 700 times when I'm on a trail, you know, and that's usually 4 or 5 hours. It's constant. You know, we at Wind Rock, we have water after water after, it's puddle after puddle after water. It never stops. And so, and when you have big tires, it just throws crap on your windshield. Doesn't matter how slow you go, you get crap on your windshield constantly. And it drove me nuts. So yeah, that was a must have. There was must. There's still a few things I want to do to the machine as far as I don't have a winch. Generally speaking, I ride with my cousin anyway, so if I ever got myself in a sticky situation, I'll just use his.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll take down the expense.
Part of the reason is, you know, I've talked to a lot of people and they said that whenever they use the Kawasaki winch, it was like 3 minutes. So start to finish, kills your battery, insta-fast. Well, that's kind of useless. But I didn't want the Kawasaki winch anyway, since it's only 4,500 pound rated. My machine is weighing in about 2,300 pounds right now without people when I put everything in it. So having a 4,500 pound winch isn't really going to cut it, you know. So I'll probably end up going with the same winch that he went with, except his is the Polaris.
Mine's actually a Polaris brand, as we talked about,
but yours looks like it's the same.
It's basically like Super ATVs or KFI makes one, I think it is.
The 6,000 pound winch. So I will put one on those one of these days. I just haven't because I haven't needed to since I always have him. So, and then at some point I will put the heater kit along with the radio in here. And other than that, I don't really think I need to put anything else.
He did do one thing that he forgot to say or mention is he did actually put in this shifter or gate that it was by EXE.
Yeah.
And it just makes it a little bit easier to shift and be in the position that you want to be in.
Yep, and so obviously you can see the sound deadening stuff I put on the back. It does not help. Don't waste your time. These things are just loud in general, and they're gonna always be loud. So I originally had taken my spring out of the my clutch, which did make a considerable difference in sound, but when I had to take it in for maintenance the last time, routine maintenance, nothing wrong with it. I had to put it back in, and I probably won't take it back out.
It hindered your engine braking.
Yes, it hindered engine braking, and it also it does take away horsepower. I noticed a significant difference in horsepower by not having it. So never had any issues with belt or anything, but just leave it in and deal with the sound. You know, put a radio in it, and then you can listen to that instead.
One thing I want to say is I think Kawasaki did a great job with their fit and finish on both their windshield and their rear panel. As I talked about in numerous videos with the Polaris rear panel is absolutely garbage. Kawasaki's
totally
is really, really nice. Hopefully she can try to get a really good close-up on it for you. It just fits so unbelievably well compared to the Polaris one. And then honestly, the windshield does the exact same thing. It's easy to take on and off. A little bit more difficult now that you have the windshield wiper on it, but
Yeah.
otherwise it was literally 4 clamps and it would come off.
I think that's everything I've done to the machine so far. I can't think of anything else. And then,
I can't think of anything else that you did to it either. I mean, I know the cap sealing off was a big ordeal just because for some reason, I don't know, as he said, there was something right here. You could see a crack, and every single time, him and I went out one time at Windrock, and we'd go through a puddle, and we would just laugh ahead of time because it would just be constant water. And we'd go through another one, constant water through, and
awesome.
it's just, I don't know why they don't think about people going through it. I know this machine was technically built for Moab, is what they at least say. It's kind of confusing because it doesn't really have the horsepower for it, but yeah, maybe that's why they didn't care so much about closing them off. But as we said, that's most machines. They all need to be sealed off better, at least for what we do, because we don't want to constantly get soaked.
Well,
So-
apparently we just go too fast, you know, so I don't know, but you know, and the steam that comes through this thing is hilarious. I mean, when I hit a puddle, even in winter, I mean, you want to talk about steam coming up through the cabin? It's ridiculous. I mean, it's a full-on sauna. It's awesome, actually. I mean, if you wanted to get a health day, a good spa day, I give me a few moments. I'll give you a nice massage with this thing and a sauna. And so, yeah. But yeah, after 1,200 miles, I still really have no complaints. You know, no major complaints as far as, you know, I beat it up on rocks, puddles, you name it, I beat it up. And there's been no mechanical issues. Let's put it that way. So, mechanically speaking, this thing's great. And I smacked, you know, I never put the A-arm guards on it or anything. I've smacked the crap out of rocks with my A-arms. No issues, no problems. It just takes it and, you know, I got to repaint it, I guess, but that's it.
One thing about the skid plate, which is kind of funny, is we took it out one time with the factory skid plate that they had. And the factory skid plate, after one trail that we did, Trail 16 at Windrock, there was basically nothing left to that skid plate. It was kind of funny. We're like, okay, that's completely useless, and he's gone back on that trail now with this one, and it's...
You can't even notice it.
Yeah, there's really no problems at all. So.
I mean, you know, I've got a couple of gouges at this point, but, you know, being half-inch thick, I mean, I've really racked this thing on some rocks, and you look underneath there like, oh, it's gonna be bad. Oh wow, I can't. Where'd it go? Where was that? You know, it's not there. You know, I do love that. You know, I'm constantly hitting here, and every time we go out, you'll see just mud piles all over that. But I don't know. I think that goes back to maybe I drive too fast.
If you guys have any questions about any of the accessories that he's put on, or you want any more information, obviously leave in the comments. If I can't answer them, I'll just ask him to answer them better. But
I did not do the alternator, so that was one big thing. You know.
Oh yeah, you did talk about.
Yeah. So I run all my lights, including my light bar. No alternator. I don't like the fact that the alternator can't be submerged. That seems kind of useless to me.
Because he's had the machine probably up to about...
There's actually a video.
There.
It's not a very good video, unfortunately, but we took
We'll
it.
make him go through it again.
Yeah, we took it through a puddle and
It had to be close to there in water.
I was pretty in, yeah, and so the cap was full of water. Yeah. And so, but yeah, and I didn't, you know, no problems. Still chugs right through it, but
To spend the money on an alternator and then it can't be submerged is kind of useless.
Yeah, I submerge my machine. It's you know, as long as my head's above water, I'm happy. So that's all that matters. And as far as the machine's concerned, as long as my head's above water, so you know, it can breathe too. So we're good.
I think that's it.
But yeah, So yeah, like he said, any questions, just go ahead and choose the question.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course.
That's right.
And we will see you hopefully out in the mud here shortly.
That's the plan.